camera. Good to see you, Anna.
All right, so I sent you a list of what I want to go over here today.
Okay.
Um, I redesigned it a little bit here at the top. Let's just go through it, make sure I got this right. Now, the purpose of this first landing page is to put all of our evidence of what our claims are and why nobody else can say anything about it, basically. Okay. What we was going over last week was the highest claim in law. You said that the Roman Superior Trust is the highest claim in law. Is that right?
Well, yeah, it's the highest claim in ownership by a government. Okay.
Okay.
Not an individual, but a government. You want to
Government.
spell my name right? It's
Uh-oh.
R-I-E-Z. There's no T in Reisinger.
Okay. I could take the T out of Reitzinger. Do I have T and Reitzinger all this time? I think I might have T and Reitzinger all this time. But
Whoa.
okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. So that's, I finished this one. I put in this is the notice of default here. Let me go back. I put in the final judgment, civil orders. Now I thought this was important. This is a administrative default. Is that the default for the judgment? Or is that something different?
Okay, that was the final notice that was sent out, giving them their final opportunity to clear their default.
Mm-hmm.
And
does this go with the final judgment, civil orders?
Yeah, well, this is what went on just prior to this.
Okay. All right. And then I got, so you have I found two, I think they're press releases. Now that the civil orders went out.
Okay, this is after the civil orders went out. That other thing you were showing me was the final notice that was given them to cure their default. So the final notice went before the final judgment, and then these other things that you're showing me come after that.
Okay, you said the final notice went before.
No, yeah, the final notice, you give 3 notices in due process, right? And this is the final notice of commercial and administrative default. That's their final opportunity to cure the default. And then the final judgment and civil orders issued after they defaulted on that 3rd notice.
Mm-hmm. And then you sent out these 2 here?
Yeah, these are civil orders. That's the domestic service. That's the federal civil service. This is okay. So this is a notice that came out after the final judgment and civil orders. The final judgment and then these orders came out afterward.
Okay.
Basically attendant to and as a result of the final judgment.
And you sent out two. I mean, they both don't say the same thing. What was the reason for sending out the 2? Because it's to the same people.
Well, it's because you are the things are sequential. You know, one is July 4th, one is July 10th. These are telling these people the results in terms of how it affects them as military employees and as civil servants. So
Mhm.
you've got these civil orders to the civil service, and um, it's also giving some instruction, I guess you would say some reference points for the military, so that they are aware of what's going on in the civil service.
Mhm. Okay, well, I used all of those as far as, and then the highest claim one. Let me tell you what I got for, the Roman Superior Trust, the irrevocable will, and the UCC statements.
Right,
It's the beginning, well, the UCC statement is the beginning, and the irrevocable will is the last wrap up of everything.
right,
Mhm.
right,
Okay, and that's what I have for that.
right. So that,
Okay, and then I have also, I took this clip out of out of
we've had a breakthrough, we've had a major,
one of the trainer calls where you talked about how you had this debate with everybody, and you had all the claims and they didn't, because they couldn't prove the claim in all the 3 jurisdictions, and you could. And that's why the debate was won. Okay.
right.
So that's what I have also connected to the Roman Superior Trust and the highest claim.
Well, and it makes complete sense. If there are certain requirements in each form of law, and to have the superior claim in all 3 jurisdictions requires meeting those requirements.
Mhm.
And so we were able to demonstrate that we had met those requirements in maritime admiralty and air jurisdiction law. And so there was really nothing more that the corporations could say, and nothing that the church could say.
Mhm. Now, the next thing I wanted to see if I can get more information on, and I said highest office in America. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I want to talk about the hereditary head of state and the postmaster.
Right.
Okay. Do we
Well,
have, oh, go ahead. Do we have, can I get the postal treaty of 2010?
I believe I have a copy of it. It's um, it's a big piece of paper. It's most of these diplomatic documents are oversized, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's a big sheet. Um, I believe probably I could probably make a facsimile of it on this printer by reducing the size
Mm-hmm.
and maybe, splitting it up into 2 halves or something like that. It's a big form,
Mhm.
piece of paper, or,
Mhm.
several pieces of paper, but, yeah, I can probably dig that up.
Well, I wanted to use that as piece of the evidence of the highest office in America. And then I have one of the articles is what I started out with, where you had, let me get rid of this. Who is the head of state article? I got this one. So I want you to tell me if there is better proof or evidence that we could use other than what I picked out for the highest office of America as the hereditary head of state and the postmaster. I thought the 2010 was one good one. I thought your explanation here to Cardinal Memberti was a good explanation of who the head of state is and how it's connected to the postmaster. And I have two other articles. Let me see. Oh, then I have these other two evidences of the authority of the head of state. The Declaration of Jurisdiction and Providence is the one I want to use. And then the International Peace Proclamation and Grand Peace Treaty that was issued that I want to use as what the office actually has the capacity to do. Do we have any better evidence that we could use?
Well, this is what stands under international law.
Mhm.
This is a fully empowered to do this. The big problem for the rest of the world is that they have assumed for so long that the quote unquote American Civil War was a war.
Mhm.
But anyway, this is the civilian side of it, and it's complete in and of itself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, the military is still trying to fudge it and say that it was a war, but they don't have a leg to stand on. So
Mhm.
they're going to have to come to the conclusions, because they won't. We just recently had a challenge, and my reply to them was, okay, well, show us the Declaration of Congress declaring war in the Civil War,
Mhm.
and then show us the peace process and peace treaty ending the war. And we looked for those things since we were young and never found them. So if they have them, step right up here and show us that we're wrong. Otherwise, shut up and go home.
Mhm. 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 Is there any evidence that James might have of his his what is it called? Family shield, artifact, pictures or anything like that connecting back?
Yeah, don't you have his declaration of flag document?
Uh-huh.
That goes into all of that. And it has all the flags on the front page. It has all the flags that are associated with the kingdoms that his family um, basically owns.
So those flags that's on the Declaration of Flag represents separate kingdoms?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Maybe what kingdoms are those? Let me see if I can find it.
Well, it says so. It gives you the name.
Oh, that whole list of names he has listed in the Declaration of Flag. I think there's a whole list of names.
Yeah, there's a whole list of names like, the Kingdom of Powys, all of that. There you go.
Okay. Okay. So I can use this one too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now the highest court in the world with the lawsuit, that one I just needed the signature page for this one. Did you remember, I sent it to you? You remember seeing it?
I don't remember seeing it, Louise, but as crazy as things have been around here this past week, I could have missed 24 donuts, you know what I mean?
Okay. And
Yeah.
then, well, we'll work on that, getting that. Now the other thing on this top here I have is holding recouped assets. And this is about the bank. I
Mhm.
got, when you canceled the bonds
Mhm.
to start. I got when we got on the trading of the American Federation dollar announcement press release,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the notice. This notice that went out. Actually, it looks several of them. Announcements. I thought this was good. And I got, of course, the actual link to the website for
Yep.
the family group. Okay. All right. Now, and I named it our actions taken and our standing to do so that it lead people's thoughts of what they're about to read. And then this orange strip here, I came up with this statement. Our American government was established in 1776, usurped in 1861, restored in 2017, our mission for 2028.
Actually, it was restored in 1998.
Okay, what document is that to use for the restoration for 1998?
Well, I'd have to dig for it, but it was a notice to the Internal Revenue Service and noticed agents as noticed principals. That was issued on the 4th of April, 1998. But we had begun our correspondence with the church and with other government entities prior to that. And what we were finding was that the due process was going to be incredibly difficult. And that's one of the things that a lot of people had tried to do something about it before, but the due process is 7 years. So to keep on something for 7 years, beginning in 1998, we finally finished it. Got everything organized and finished it in 2014. That gives you an idea of how long this whole thing was. But actually, from the Federation side of it, the restoration began in 1998. The 2017 date is when we began the summoning of the states.
Okay, so the document then, so we were restored in 1998. So that document for that one I'll need, and I can put here for the restoration date for 1998.
I don't know if I can dig that out very handily. I think that may be in the archives in Texas.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of correspondence going back a lot of years.
Okay.
I can look for it. I might have a copy of it here. I don't think I have the original document anymore. Not with me, but I'll look for it, okay?
Okay, well, that would, and that would, I think solidifies our claims in all these different areas when people are trying to say, we're we the people. All these other organizations trying to say we the people and we're the government and join us. Well, I'm putting up here for everybody to read what our claim is and why it's the highest claim. So they need to rally behind restoring the American government, which we are. That's what the point of this first beginning part is. So I'll change this to restored in 1998 and we'll get some evidence for that.
Yeah, get my name straight and get the 1998.
I'm sorry, yeah. Okay, And now these link to, just to show you what they link to, the established in 1776, I just got it linked to the Declaration.
Mhm.
And then the usurped, you had a good article that went down the timeline of when
Mhm.
this happened.
Yep.
And then for restored, I showed you I was going to use the Declaration of Flag, but we're going to use whatever the 1998 for that one. Then our mission for 2028, this is a document that I'll need to go over with you. This is this mission 2028 is the culmination of what I want, what we're heading for. And I created this document. I thought that we would put all the assemblies seals on it, and this would be like our press release type thing. And I said, I got some of the information from some of your articles and put in here, but of course it has to be constructed right. I'm sure it's not all right, but I wanted to tell the story of how like they said that they told the world that our lawful American government was missing an interregnum absent, as confirmed repeatedly by Karen Hughes and reported by the American Native delegates at the United Nations. That is a lie. And go into, I went into the different the constitutions, and you said, you called all the federal contractors incompetent.
Right.
So, and you said we have the records, we have the provenance, we have the proof. So I want to go through all of that, and this is like our press release when we launched the project, and tell what we want to happen as this transition of government takes place. And I talked about our federal subcontractor not doing their job and committing fraud against the Declaration and all this, and starting from the War of 1812 and all this, when it was our last war. So I want to go over this document with you and polish it up.
Okay.
It's going to take some reading, but this whole section here is talking about all the list of remedies that we're supposed to have, but don't. Was this the remedies? No, this is, yeah, a lot of the things that, this part right here talks about all of the lies they told, all the lies they told, and we're going to tell them the truth since they won't tell you the truth. And then the next one is about all the remedies you were supposed to have, but you don't have them, but we're going to bring those remedies forward. That's what these two big sections is about. And this is what I want the assemblies to go tell the public, so the public can rally around what they know that their unalienable rights are, and that the government is supposed to be protecting that. And I want them to see that's what the government, we as the American government, is doing as we are restoring the government across the country.
Well,
That's what I want them to see with this, and that's what I want the assemblies to lead with in the communities, and telling them what we're doing to correct the mess. Basically, this is what we're doing to correct the mess. Oh, I got your name. Is your name spelled right there?
yeah, that's it.
Okay. So this is one document I want us to work on to get
Right.
this homepage finished. So that one document. And did you have a chance to look at the video slides?
Yeah, well, I've reviewed those 3 times, and the only corrections I found were those that I'd already sent to you. So I think all we have to do is, like, find an hour when we can just flip through them and make sure that all the corrections got made.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So then that's something we could do tomorrow if you want to.
Okay. All right. And then, well, are you wanting to do it now?
Well, we don't really have time now, but
Mhm.
we've only got about 15 minutes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, we can do it. See, I'm trying to think of what's happening tomorrow. What time tomorrow you got available?
Well, I could do it tomorrow morning. I'm gonna be busy in the afternoon, but I could cut loose for an hour at, say, 11 o'clock my time.
That's 8 o'clock. No, 1 o'clock. I got a interview tomorrow at 1
All
o'clock.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
you let me know when you have an hour. Just, text me or whatever. We'll find an hour somewhere and just sit down and do that and get it done.
Okay. Mhm. So 11 o'clock tomorrow, your time, you're available. I'll try to make myself available and have somebody else do the interview.
Okay,
Let's-
or we could do it later if that's better. We could do it at probably 2 o'clock on Sunday. Or Saturday. I'm looking at my list here.
Okay,
If I do it at 2 o'clock, I may be doing it from Anchorage.
okay. 2 o'clock, let's do it in the morning. I like the morning. Just get it out the way.
All
The
right,
11 o'clock one.
all right.
Okay. All right, so we'll do that. Now, well, most of the rest of this is really the detailed research. See, after we go through those things we just said on the front page, that's that. But then the other biggest thing is really the detailed research section. Going through all of these. Now, if you want to sit down and go through it together, or you want to go ahead and edit it and send it back and forth, how do you want to tackle these?
Well, we probably just need to, again, I can go through section 1. I mean, I can download that and go over it and have comments ready for that. Yeah, each one of those I could just download, assuming I've got the, download links, and go over them by hand, sort of, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And have those sort of as notes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could just very quickly go through the whole roster and say, okay, well, this needs to be for, not of, and those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Do you want to do that? You want to meet to do that, or meet on the call to do that, or you want to
well,
do it?
if you could send me all these download links, then I would just go look at them on the computer, right? And download the diagrams.
Mm-hmm.
And that would give me something that I could then refer to in talking to you and say, just like we did today, my name doesn't have a T in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be picky stuff like that. It's not
Mhm.
going to be big stuff.
Mhm.
But
Okay,
yeah, if you could just send me all the downloads, the links.
so what the easiest way then would actually go to this website and click on it. Each one of these has a download link.
Okay, well, okay. Then
Now,
I will need the specific link to get to this main page.
okay, yep, because they're all listed there already.
All right.
And we can go one by one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think the quickest way to do that is for me to do kind of a hands-on um, peer at it, look at it, and mark up basically a tally sheet and circle
Okay.
anything that looks like it needs a correction, okay?
Do you, so, well, to be clear, do we want to do that as we're sitting here talking, like in sessions like this, going through it together?
Well, yeah, we will, but I think it's fastest if I go through it first on my own, just looking at what's there and,
Oh.
taking a marking pen and going, if I find something that isn't quite spelled correctly or doesn't have quite the right title or,
Mhm.
those sorts of things, just marking up a sheet.
Yeah.
And then I can sit here with my sheets and go over them with you, and you can make
Mhm.
the corrections in real time. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
Yeah. Are you gonna be able to do that through the week? And like we meet every Friday or something?
Right, just do as many as we can get through every week, and on Fridays, we'll just get together and go, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, there's the edits,
Okay. Okay. So tomorrow then we'll meet at 11 your time to go
Okay.
over the video.
right?
Um, and the Mission 2028 statement. I'm going to go over it one more time before I get you to kind of edit it, because I know it's got mistakes in there and they no used to letting you go through all the mistakes. Let me do some of the mistakes first, and then I'll hand it over to you so we can polish it up. So that's the first document we're going to go through before we get into the detailed research.
Okay.
Okay. We got 5 minutes for the next meeting.
Okay.
Melissa, you had a question?
Yeah, Anna, is that document from 1998 that you were referring to? Would that be in any of your books, either Blood Money or Something's Wrong When? Could we pull it down from there?
No, because remember, we began working at this from the standpoint of the Federation. And everything that is about, all the books have been more about the history of setting up our, summoning the states and, things that are about the states, not so much the Federation. The Federation development started in 1998. So that's, a part of the government. But we haven't been focused on that because frankly, getting the states summoned and organized was really always the big bugaboo, and putting together the due process to do that preceded this. You have to realize that a lot of this stuff that you're seeing here began in, 20, 30 years ago. So our organization of the Federation began in 1998. And I count that as restoration internationally because we're talking about international stuff here, right? So I count that as 1998 is the day and time that we began restoring the American government, because that's when we began restoration of the Federation as a separate entity, right? And then restoring the members of the Federation, we had to work up to that.
Okay.
Because remember, when this started, we had no idea what all we were going to have to face. Frankly, if we had known, we probably wouldn't have done it.
Right.
Good thing y'all didn't know.
Right. That's what I was hoping, was to take one thing off your plate if we could go find it, somewhere else for you, but no such luck.
No, it's
Okay.
we're reaching back into the distant past for that, and
Yeah.
a whole different level or effort that preceded everything that we have going now.
Okay. Okay, so we have another meeting here with you, Anna, in about 3 minutes. So I'm gonna end this call and get back with you on the business meeting, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. See you
Thank-
again. Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you. Aloha.
All right.